So you're here. Good. I was hoping for company. You see, I've got stories, dark ones, chilling ones, the kind that keep you up at night. Mythical creatures, curses, horrors you can't escape. Shall we begin? Don't worry, I won't bite. Much.
In Japanese folklore, Tennyo are mystical celestial beings who reside in the heavens, or what is often called the celestial world. They wear a special robe known as the Hagoromo, celestial feathered robe. As long as they have it, they can soar through the skies like birds, freely traveling between the celestial and human realms. But what happens if a Tennyo loses her Hagoromo? She is trapped, forever unable to return to the heavens. This legend dates back to Japan's Heian period, appearing in classical texts like Konjaku Monogatari, Tales of Times Now Past. It was also adapted into No theater, particularly in the famous play Hagoromo, and later influenced kabuki performances, anime, and countless retellings throughout Japanese history. Among the many places said to be linked to this legend, the most famous is Miho no Matsubara, a breathtaking pine-covered coastline in Shizuoka Prefecture, where people still say the Tennyo's presence lingers. Let's dive into this timeless tale of love, longing, and destiny, the legend of the Celestial Robe. Long ago, the sacred land of Miho no Matsubara was believed to be a place where celestial maidens, Tennyo, descended from the heavens. Villagers whispered of those who had glimpsed their ethereal beauty, but few truly believed in such legends. In a small fishing village by the coast, a young fisherman named Boro lived a simple yet introspective life. Unlike most villagers who focused solely on their daily catch, Boro often gazed at the horizon, wondering about the unknown world beyond the sea. He was an orphan, raised by an old fisherman, and though his life was ordinary, his heart yearned for something more. One fateful night, as he walked past Miho no Matsubara, he noticed a faint, shimmering glow near a secluded lake. Curious, he crept closer, peering through the gaps in the pine trees. And then he saw it, a sight that would remain in his heart forever. Several celestial maidens were bathing in the lake. They wore translucent silk garments, their skin glowing softly in the moonlight. Every movement they made was as fluid as flowing water, their presence so unearthly that Boro barely dared to breathe. Draped over a nearby pine branch were their Hagoromo, celestial robes, glistening faintly as if woven from pure moonlight. Among them, one maiden stood out. She was more radiant than the rest, her long hair cascading like a waterfall, her eyes shimmering like the stars above. Just as Boro was lost in the vision, a sudden breeze swept through the grove, knocking one of the Hagoromo from the branch. The delicate robe drifted down and landed right at Boro's feet. Instinctively, he picked it up. The moment his fingers brushed the fabric, a strange warmth coursed through his body, filling his mind with a wild, forbidden thought. If she has no Hagoromo, she cannot return to the heavens. And so, Boro quietly hid the celestial robe. As the wind settled, the Tennyo realized they had been watched. In a flash, they retrieved their robes, draping them over their bodies and ascending into the sky, leaving behind only streaks of golden light. Only one was left behind. The most beautiful Tennyo stood by the lake, desperately searching for her Hagoromo, but it was gone. Her eyes widened in panic as she frantically looked around, her breath quickening. When she could not find it, she fell to her knees, her slender fingers trembling as she clutched her face. She began to weep. Her sobs were unlike the cries of human women. They carried a sorrow that transcended earthly pain, like the sighing of the wind, piercing straight into the soul. Boro stood frozen. Guilt gnawed at him, but so did an inexplicable longing. He wrestled with himself before finally stepping forward. "Why are you crying?" he asked cautiously. The Tennyo lifted her tearful gaze to him, her voice as soft as flowing water. "My Hagoromo, it is gone. Without it, I cannot return to the heavens. I can never go home." Boro's grip on the robe tightened. He looked at her helpless figure, his heart aching. Yet, he could not bring himself to return it. "I will help you find it," he said instead. The Tennyo, placing her trust in his words, nodded and followed him back to the village. That night, after ensuring the Tennyo had fallen asleep, Boro carefully placed the Hagoromo inside a wooden box. He carried it to the village's backyard and hid it beneath a sacred stone near the well, a stone that legend claimed had fallen from the heavens. If this truly came from the sky, Boro thought, then perhaps it can guard the robe. Days passed, then weeks, and to Boro's surprise, the Tennyo settled into village life. Though she had never woven cloth or fished before, her presence alone was like a ray of light, bringing warmth to those around her. She sang songs of the heavens, her voice light and airy, and even withered flowers seemed to bloom in response to her melody. The entire village flourished, as if blessed by the gods. Boro, too, found himself drawn ever deeper into her gentle radiance, and the deeper he fell, the more he feared that one day she would find the Hagoromo and leave him behind. As time passed, the Tennyo grew accustomed to the human world. She came to cherish her life among mortals, and she and Boro slowly fell in love. The villagers rejoiced as they married, and soon they had a son, whom they named Shirasagi, White Egret. Yet, despite her happiness, deep in her heart, a voice still called to her, a voice whispering of the home she had left behind. 5 years passed. Shirasagi had grown into a bright, lively boy, running through the village with boundless energy. The Tennyo, now deeply attached to her family, believed she had finally let go of the heavens. But fate had other plans. That day, for the first time, she found herself in the backyard, near the well. She leaned over the edge, peering into its depths, when suddenly a strange dizziness overtook her. She stumbled and collapsed onto the sacred stone. The moment her body touched it, a faint celestial glow emanated from its surface. She froze. This was a piece of the heavens. Her fingers traced along its surface, and there, hidden beneath it, she found a wooden box. With trembling hands, she opened it. Inside lay her Hagoromo. Her mind reeled. Boro had never lost it. He had hidden it all these years. A sorrow deeper than any she had ever known filled her heart. That evening, when Boro returned home, he saw the celestial robe in her hands. His face turned pale. You found it." The Tennyo looked up at him, eyes filled with both love and betrayal. "You lied to me, didn't you?" Boro clenched his fists, unable to answer. "You know," she whispered, voice trembling, "even without my Hagoromo, I still chose to love you. I still chose to stay. But you took away my freedom. You never let me choose for myself." As she spoke, she slowly draped the Hagoromo over her shoulders. A soft heavenly glow surrounded her as the sky began to call her home. Desperate, Boro lunged forward and grasped her hand. "Don't go! What is there in the heavens for you? You have a home here, a husband, a child. Are you really going to abandon us?" Tears welled in her eyes. She turned to Shirasagi, reaching out to caress his cheek. "I am not abandoning you, but I was never meant to stay in this world." She gently pulled away from Boro's grasp, her feet lifting off the ground. "When Shirasagi grows up, if he wishes to find me, he will know the way." With one final glance at her husband and child, she rose into the sky, her form becoming a streak of light before vanishing beyond the clouds. The day the Tennyo left, a golden rain fell upon the village. Boro stood by the shore, watching the sky every day, knowing she would never return. But he never once regretted loving her, even if their love was never meant to last. As Shirasagi grew, his mother's celestial blood granted him gifts no human possessed. In his dreams, he heard her voice, soft and distant, whispering, "One day, you will find your way to me." And on windy nights, as the pines swayed, the villagers swore they could still hear her song echoing through Miho no Matsubara.